Hey
Hey,
Bogdan, how you doing, man? It's great to
awesome.
see you.
Great to be with you here.
All right, fantastic. We got a bunch of people arriving at the live, so for anyone out there, please feel free to ask any questions that you have. Hit the like button, give us a thumbs up. We're super excited to have Bogdan here with us. As I mentioned, he has a new concept he's working on. It's a five-star co-living concept on Madeira Island at the Savoy Palace, really the #1 resort on the entire island and based in Funchal, which is about 30 minutes from Ponta do Sol. So without further ado, we wanted to ask you some questions here, Bogdan. Maybe give us a little bit of your background and the inspiration for this project that you've started on Madeira Island. We're really curious.
Right. So I was actually living in Croatia at the time when I even didn't hear that Madeira is planning anything of sorts on a global scale to make the country and the island really like a digital hub for digital nomads. And with the pandemic happening around the world and Croatia being quite loose on the regulation and being very welcoming of tourism, I was thinking to do it there. And a friend just randomly sent me a link. Hey, you love Madeira, you've been there 3 years ago, you didn't stop talking about it ever since then, you wanted to bring your own friends, community, everything there, and suddenly somebody from the government is doing exactly what you were thinking for 3 years to do. So immediately I changed the entire project, moved it to Madeira, started negotiating the hotels here instead of where I was originally planning on doing that. So yeah, definitely an amazing turn of events. I have never been happier than I'm right now. This is just unbelievable. This island, this hotel, this project, yeah, mind-blowing to me.
That's really amazing. So you had this idea several years ago. Where were you where were you kind of initiating the project before you decided to move it to Madeira? Where did you say, in Croatia?
Right. So I was already in negotiations with a very big resort in Croatia, and we had about 200 rooms occupancy, which I thought of like making. It was a long time thinking, and last minute I decided to change it to Madeira. It was a no-brainer for me. I love the weather, I love the people, I love the country. I would love to even live here. This is paradise, absolutely.
That's awesome. We just have Brittany Snowberg just joined us. Welcome, Brittany. We're here with Bogdan Danchuk from Remote Haven. He's got an amazing program. It's five-star co-living, one of the nicest five-star resort on the island of Madeira. And I thought the prices were really good. I was noticing here it's like 1405 for a single occupancy, 1855 for double occupancy, and that comes with breakfast as well, if I'm right. I get that right?
That is true, and we were quite lucky, really, because when I started the negotiations, it took about 2 months to get something on paper. And when I came to the island to check out the properties, I was trying to make better than what we got. So being here, of course, gives you a bit more leverage than doing it remotely. And yeah, so we got upgraded 4 times within the same Savoy group, of course, but we got a hotel which was supposed to be triple in price than what we pay right now for the price I negotiated to begin with. So yeah, definitely, I didn't expect that, to be honest. I was working really hard to make it happen, but yeah, we got lucky for sure.
That's amazing. Well, I think you're making a lot of people happy because I think, as you know, for everyone that's joined us, we have the Digital Nomad Village, which is in Ponta do Sol. It's more villas, a smaller town. It's really the headquarters for the first Nomad Village. But then we're also in the midst of, we've got Funchal. Funchal is the major city of Madeira. That's where the Savoy Palace is based. And I hear it's supposed to be really nice. There's a lot of stuff to do there as well. So we want to hear from you about kind of what's going on location. But yeah, I've been hearing some really great things. I think you have about 50 people that are there at the moment, if I'm right, and more people expected to arrive.
Yeah, so currently we have 50 rooms booked, so that means a bit more than 50 people. I think it's about 70 people by March 1st, but like physically in the hotel right now, about 50 people total currently. It's amazing. The community really is just creating its own sort of ecosystem, because right now, if you are not in Madeira yet, you might not know that we have a curfew at 7 p.m. I believe. We just don't feel it at all. We have our own thing happening. The Savoy is the size of a small city, You really need to look at some photos to get the full perspective of, or come to one of our public events to see how big it is. But we are still discovering some rooms which we didn't know exist. Yeah, so imagine 50 people doing sort of the same thing, but in different walks of life, living together in a very spacious, small city environment, which has zero curfew impact. And that really creates something like an adult summer camp, you might say. People just are inside in any of the 7 restaurants, lounges, swimming pools, just hanging around. And yeah, we have people actually creating different programs which we were not even thinking will happen. We have guys that are passionate about conscious breathing, guys that are passionate about dancing, team building, hiking, and all of those people are really contributing their own time and effort and make those workshops happen and make those events happen. It's really awesome. We have like a small Slack group that we have within the hotel, and whenever anybody has an idea, he just posts it in the general section, and like within minutes we have about 20 to 30 people on board. So if somebody has an idea, hey, let's do some karaoke night, which we did last night, within 5 minutes we are organizing that. Within 3 hours we're there. 35 people last night. Amazing times, unbelievable.
That's great. Yeah, it's really nice, I think, to be able to find community in times like this. I feel like so many people right now are maybe in a cold environment, especially here in Europe. You know, maybe people are in Germany or in Switzerland, and they've got a lot of snow right now, and they're stuck in their apartments, maybe by themselves or with a significant other. And meanwhile, we've got this awesome opportunity going on in Madeira Island, which just got started. And then, as Bogdan said, he's secured 100 rooms at the nicest 5-star resort for excellent prices. And the good thing is you can really fly in from anywhere. So you basically get a COVID test, you fly straight into Madeira, they let you straight through. And then basically you're in Funchal, you've got this amazing resort that you're staying at, and then with access to all sorts of nature and all sorts of activities, actually, with the nomads, but then also anything you want to do on the island, whether that's surfing, whether that's hiking, whether it's going to explore some of the smaller villages. Just sounds absolutely amazing. Really nice that you set this whole thing up, Bogdan. I feel like, yeah, it's really kind of, you're helping people get through the winter and creating some inspiration. And I'm sure there's a lot of connections being made there too. So for business connections and social connections.
Absolutely. People are becoming best friends under these circumstances. And what's so super surprising to me is like how people from completely different walks of life just wear this hat of like, hey, let's be socializing. And we have like PhD, very famous lawyers with like investors in the cryptocurrency market, artists. We have like a published fiction author. We have designers. We have creatives. We have people doing technology. But really what is amazing is how they have like sort of a different background, but same language they speak. It's bringing people together. It's creating business opportunities. We have people creating some ideas already, sort of collaborating. We are using every space here, and when you come there to the lobby, to the library, to any other lounge, you just see people that have never met before this project, spending hours together, creating their own groups, making events happen. We have a girl that just like thought bouldering is going to be nice, so she thought it's going to be 2 or 3 more people. Now she has 15 people coming with her next like couple of days, like for a workshop bouldering in a row. Yeah.
Sweet, man. Yeah, I think I heard tonight. I guess we moved this interview forward just a little bit because I was searching. I think it was on Slack or on Facebook, and it looks like you guys have a crypto event this afternoon with a guy who's very well recognized in the space, right?
Right. So we were like really not expecting anything specific. So I wasn't targeting the crypto community particularly, but somehow a friend brings a friend. And we ended up having some of the really most known names in this space in the world. We have a guy that owns the biggest crypto exchange in the world. Sorry, not in the world, in the UK. We have one of the people that basically rebuilds Ethereum right now. He's creating a scaling network for whoever doesn't know, Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency after Bitcoin. So this guy basically decides how things are going to go into the future. We have a guy that's responsible for the other side of the technology, which is called staking. So not to get too technical here, because I know a lot of people are not into crypto, but neither was I, by the way. When I got into the sort of meetups and hangouts and got to speak with those people, I got in, but I was not exposed to this world at all beforehand. And I'm all in right now, and we have about 45 people, I believe, committed to come from the outside, and maybe with our group, it's going to be about 45 plus 25, let's say 70 people right now in an hour in the upstairs 16th floor. Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, sweet. So if anyone on here is on Madeira Island at the moment and you're looking to learn a bit more about crypto, we got an event going on in the next like 30, 40 minutes, which Bogdan's helping to organize with some amazing folks. So I think, yeah, that's the beauty of these nomad villages and bringing groups of nomads together, like in a retreat setting like you have. I know like things have been super popular in the past, like the Nomad cruise, but unfortunately you can't do the cruises right now with everything going on. So this is like really maybe like the best alternative to a cruise, but you're just not moving on water. You're just you're on land, but then you have access to so much nature and everything too. It's kind of the best of all worlds, I would imagine.
Absolutely. I feel like also the longevity of the project gives a lot of upside to it. So you don't have this FOMO experience where when you're coming for something for a week or for 2 weeks and then it ends. So you kind of know the schedule to begin with, and you know that it's very intense. Here, people have the ability to just chill by themselves, to just have some private time. There's a lot of privacy and there's a lot of socializing, and you can always choose in between. We have very spacious rooms where people work from. If you want to have a co-working experience, you go and sit with other people as well. You have the best of both worlds, and within a month, you have an opportunity to create a bit deeper connections, deeper communication, deeper friendships. And actually, I was quite surprised, but I think currently about 80% of the guys that came on board for the first month have extended. So yeah, I can see us doubling by April, and that's super awesome. So people even have a longer experience than I even thought they will have. So definitely, that's a big point of difference.
Yeah, I mean, I think as people are traveling these days, I think once people find a place that they like and they feel settled and it's productive and you got a nice community, I found, yeah, people tend to stay. So I think, yeah, the environment you're creating sounds great. How long will this initiative be going on for that you've got going on with the Savoy Palace? Is there a time limit to how long you guys will be doing this for, or what are the plans?
So initially we didn't really know because we were sort of approved for February and March, and we were so happy with how things turned, and the hotel is super happy, and all the management is really like looking at the type of people that come, like super, because they didn't know if it's gonna be like 50 really young, a bit of a different environment, so they didn't know what to expect. And when they saw who is coming, they approved it for until the end of May. So that is not even the end point. That's just like how long we already know it's gonna run for, but it could very well run into June and July and maybe the whole year. So yeah, things are really, really long.
All right, sweet, man. That's awesome. It's like, yeah, so for everyone that's joined us, once again, we're here with Bogdan Danchuk. He's got 5-star co-living at the Savoy Palace, the #1 resort in all of Madeira, so you can't go too wrong with that. And he's got an amazing group of digital nomads, remote workers who are all coming together from different backgrounds, creating content, sharing content with locals. You're really creating a nice community, and yeah, just getting out of the cold environment. Let's see here. So yeah, this is really awesome. I've really learned a lot about what you're up to here. Sorry, my wife's alarm's going off, so just give me 1 second. A little bit of an interruption. But beyond just the Savoy Palace, which we think is absolutely amazing, and it's such an awesome concept. I wish I came up with the idea myself, but I know you, so I don't have to. But yeah, beyond that, we just love to know a little bit about your journey, because I know you've been traveling as a nomad for 12 years to, I think it's 35 countries. It looks like you're more of a kind of a technical background, maybe more of an engineering background. Yeah, give us a little background on yourself and your travels, and maybe some of the places you've been to that you really loved, and yeah, offer some value here for the community.
Right.
More
So
value.
when I started my journey, nobody really knew what a digital nomad is, and it really wasn't a word anybody used. I think it kind of popped up in the last 6 years, but back in the day, Airbnb didn't really exist in Europe. Just to give you some perspective, Booking.com didn't even have apartments listed there. You didn't have social networking the way you have right now. You didn't have Meetup. You didn't have digital nomad communities. So I really was just excited to go somewhere and start traveling. So age 19, took my first flight and never looked back. Basically, that was 12 years ago. I was very lucky to have a kind of job that allowed for that so many years ago. I mean, 12 years ago in terms of how the world moves forward is quite a long time. So I actually was a web designer. That was my original background as a profession. And yeah, I started my own design agency age 18 after working for some other company doing e-commerce. Yeah, I was quite lucky to start very early on in this professionally. Then one thing led to the other, and the agency became more focused on digital marketing. And then from working with clients, sort of moved into the direction of performance marketing, affiliate marketing, working in those areas, doing software distribution mostly. Yeah, so kind of been doing that for a while, and traveled 35 countries, as you said. Some for a short time, some for a long time. Mostly, I think on average, that would be 3 months per country. I think the longest I stayed at was in Spain. It was 2.5 years in Barcelona. I stayed in France, stayed in Germany, stayed in Croatia, definitely in Portugal, my favorite one by far. I think actually, like, for all those years, I was sort of having the feeling I want to settle somewhere someday, but until I visited Portugal, I never knew where. So that was probably the only place on earth I said, hey, that's home. And when I came to Madeira, that was doubling up on that. That was just unbelievable. I've been here 3 years ago, and it really had all the infrastructure needed with zero of the people that could use it. I was maybe one of the only foreigners on the island because it was January 3 years ago. You didn't have many people in our age group, young professionals in the prime of their endeavors. So I was thinking to myself, hey, this place has a lot of potential. It's having the best weather in Europe and maybe in the world, in my opinion. It's clean, it's safe, the people are amazing. If you know locals in Portugal and especially in Madeira, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I was thinking to myself, let me buy a house here. Let me call 20 of my best friends and business associates and tell them to do the same. Bring them here, and we sort of plant the seeds to make it grow. And I was starting to do that already, and suddenly this thing with the government pops up. I was quite shocked.
That's awesome. So yeah, everything really lined up nicely for you. It's nice when that happens, when you have this kind of inspiration, and obviously you've been an entrepreneur now for a long time, and you've had a lot of really nice experiences. I'd look to get multiple startups, and the most recent one is a company called Easily Global, which my understanding is more for helping online entrepreneurs with taxes and corporations and residencies based on a lot of the experiences you've had. So that's your kind of main business, and then you've got
Right.
this initiative going on. So yeah, I think you've got a really nice background. You're very entrepreneurial, and yeah, very connected into the nomad scene. So yeah, it's really nice to have you running this initiative on Madeira Island. Let's see here. So I wanted to, in terms of I'd love to kind of get your perspective. You've been doing this lifestyle now for a long time. We're going through a massive pandemic. What does the future hold for this, for digital nomads and for these remote workers? What do you see happening over the next 5 to 10 years?
Without exaggerating, I think we will at least 5x the community within the next 5 years. I feel like large companies like Spotify, other big corporations, we actually have guys here which are very high positioned corporates in companies you would never expect going remote, living here and extending for the next 3 months. So definitely we see that happening. We see people that work in traditional jobs becoming digital nomads. We see people that do professions which at no other time they had the validation that it's even possible to be remote, becoming remote. So yeah, the whole remote idea just got such a validation because of this pandemic, and it's not going backwards. So we definitely will see more of that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's been a lot of press, and I think everyone's trying to figure out where do they go work from. So people I think are kind of tired of working from home, and the co-working spaces get nice, but after a while, you can only go sit in a co-working space for so long. So I think this year people are starting to experiment with it. I'm curious to see what's going to happen next year, because I think everyone's going to be moving or traveling around the world. So yeah, you've really been a pioneer in this space and really doing some amazing things. And yeah, just exciting to see the community come together and rally around one another and create opportunities for everyone else. So I think that's fantastic. Before we leave here, maybe we just give us any sort of special offer, or just let us know the pricing again in terms of what you guys are doing. And if there's anything you want to, any final words you want to leave for the community, just let us know. Appreciate it.
Right. So first of all, as the final words, I would say that we are at the beginning of something really big here, and it's always nice to be on the pioneering side of things. So if you want to do that, just come to Madeira. It will be the #1 spot in the world, in my opinion. And guys, I'm not from here. Like, I'm talking as an outsider coming here. It's gonna be big. In terms of the deal itself, so it's 1,400 for single occupancy and 1,850 for couples, and that includes breakfast, which is just out of this world. It's more of a brunch really, because it goes until like 11:30, and yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
So people that work on American schedule can still enjoy that, and they definitely do. Yeah, so 1,400 and 1,850. That's the price point, and we're running with that for the next few months.
Cool. Well, yeah. Hey, it's been awesome having you on here, Bogdan. I just got to know you recently, through this project that you're working on, and excited to see that it's going so well for you all, and there's so much excitement around Madeira. And yeah, just wishing you the best. And I don't want to keep you from your crypto event, so thanks for having this a little bit earlier for us, and looking forward to seeing you. I'm going to be there. I'm arriving on Wednesday next week, so I'll get a chance to swing by and say hi and catch up with you all, hopefully.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you here.
All right. Awesome, man. Well, great seeing you today, Bogdan. Yeah, take care.
We'll have that coffee on Wednesday.
Yeah. Good night, everyone, for us. Cheers, man.